This is the EVP Podcast. Yes, we are the EVP team, Energy, Visions, and the Paranormal. I am your co-host, DVO.
And I'm Ghosty McGhostface.
And I'm Beaker. Okay, that's fun.
That was spooky. Oh my
I
gosh.
scared.
That's amazing.
I peed a little bit.
This is definitely Halloween season. I can tell by our intro.
This is the most Halloween intro we've ever had.
Yes.
There was no editing on that either. That was natural.
That was natural
That's just our
spookiness.
voices.
We learned how to do that. It took us all day.
Practice.
Just for this intro.
Tired.
My voice is tired. Awesome. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is our Halloween, one of our Halloween episodes. Like, we're going all month with this Halloween special episodes. I love it.
Well, it's spooky time.
It is spooky time, and
Spooky.
I love Halloween time. So this episode, we are actually going to talk a little bit about the history of Halloween. We kind of deep dived a little bit into this, and one thing I found out is there's no one truth, okay? Because as I kind of was diving into this, I figured out many countries, many religions kind of have very close similarities of what modern day we call Halloween. And I just think, this is just my opinion, we just took everything and kind of just made it our own, right? America's like this melting pot, and we just took some of the cooler things of what we found and said, we're going to adopt that one. We like that. That sounds fun.
You know, I
And
think we still do that as Americans.
we do. That's definitely our niche. So,
Like tacos.
yes, I love tacos from all different places
I
of the
like
world.
Korean food. So, haven't you had Korean infused tacos yet?
Yes.
See?
Or Tex-Mex.
Exactly. We like to take the best of things and make it our own.
Yeah, the only thing I can think that's like an actual American food is hot dogs.
Meatloaf, maybe?
Meatloaf, probably. I don't know.
Casseroles of all kinds.
Yeah, we definitely own casseroles. That's for
I
sure.
think we invented potato chips too.
And salads of potatoes.
Yes.
Jello. This is all Halloween related.
Well, it's food. And we love food.
Yeah, I
And
know.
Halloween. So let's talk a little bit
Halloween
about
food.
I love Halloween food. So let's talk a little bit about Halloween, and like I said, listen, we're not going to get this 100% right. We're probably going to forget something, and then as soon as we hit stop, we're going to be like, oh my gosh, we forgot to talk about
Every
this.
episode.
It's
And
going
then
to
we'll
happen.
get chewed out by people that
Yep.
text messaging us like, you guys left stuff out. We know.
So we're warning you now. Yes, we are going to forget something. There's a lot to unravel here. We're going to do our best, and if you have no history of Halloween, this will be very informative for you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have
We'll
a
touch
couple.
on a good 1% of this for you.
Yeah.
We did have a couple of questions and comments on YouTube and on the social media about our last podcast, The Types of Spirits. With how long we think this episode is going to be, we're going to save those for a different episode.
Yeah, we've got actually a lot of things in the chamber too. So
We've got stories that people have shared with us. We've got questions that we want to answer on the show. We've got a whole bunch going on, but we really want to jump into this, so I'm going to stop stalling and let's
So if you don't want to miss these other topics, make sure you smash that subscribe button, everybody.
follow us on the social media, evp.pod at social, was it Instagram and Facebook?
Yep.
And then EVP Podcast
As
on
of
YouTube.
today, it's still called Facebook. We'll see.
We'll see.
Why they're changing it?
So, all right. So
Spook
quick
book.
little
Spook book.
history. So the Celts, they would basically celebrate their harvest with huge old bonfires. And that would happen on October 31st. It kind of celebrated the new year. Everyone knows spring as a time of rebirth. But a lot of people forget the harvest season was a time of basically death. Because if they didn't have a good harvest, a lot of people died from starvation during the winter. So kind of a time of death as well. But those bonfires, actually, they think some of those bonfires, they would attract some of the insects out in the fields, which, who loves to eat insects? Bats. So bats would come in, get the insects. So some people think so maybe the origins of bats and Halloween kind of came from these bonfires.
Well, originally I think they were called bone fires because they would take the bones and like skins of animals and throw it in there, kind of as like sacrifices, trying to appease their deities, hoping that they would have a good winter season. So they basically they had the light season and the dark season, and this was to kick off the new year and the dark season.
I also heard some of these bonfires were also just to get rid of the scraps. As they used
Most
up all
likely.
the animals, they're like, what are we going to do with all this chunk of bones and stuff? Just throw it in a big old fire and just burn it.
Yeah, but I think they originally were bone fires, and it just kind of became bonfire from there.
Became bonfire. The biggest, well, probably the biggest thing about Halloween is like I said, a lot of different countries and religions kind of have some type of celebration for the death and the families. So, and it's around this time, what we now know as Halloween time. It kind of seems like a lot of them are around that same season or time. And the rumor is, or the feeling is, that the veil between the living and dead is much thinner, and it's easy to cross between both. And I think in some of those early cultures, they were too scared. You had to be careful that you didn't cross into the afterlife and not return. Maybe I'll go back here. Pagan Romans on May 13th celebrated what they called Lemuria, and about 600 AD it was changed to All Saints Day. Christians got involved and said, okay, we're not going to take over. We're not going to believe in these pagan ideas you have.
Did you hear about what they did for Lemuria?
Go on.
So during Lemuria, what they would say is that the ghosts would come out and haunt you. That's what that day was about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the ghosts are going to come out and haunt you. So what they would do to appease these ghosts so they didn't get haunted by them is they would bring milk and cakes to their grave sites and pour milk or leave cakes there for them, and kind of like an offering, like, hey, how about you not haunt me tonight?
Yeah, and a lot of these cultures have some type of offering, and some people kind of maybe I don't know if I should say cross it, but get really similar to this is maybe some of the beginnings or similarities of what we call trick or treat. So it seems like a lot of cultures have something similar with like some type of offering or giving or bribing, and that was what we call trick or treat.
There's a whole long list of things.
There's other things too
Yeah.
with the trick or treating. Well, you know,
There's a lot of things
with the bonfires too, because they thought that the veil was thinnest there. The Druids would actually use this time to like communicate with spirits and try to predict the future.
And they could.
And they could.
Did you also know? I just learned this also. With you know how they would always show ghosts with like a sheet over them?
Yeah,
Do you know how that came about?
I do, but please say.
So the shrouds, when they would bury people, they would cover them with a shroud over them, it's like
Right.
a blanket. And so they say when their ghost comes out, like they have that shroud still on their bodies.
Yeah.
I would just be scared to look at it and think it would just pop up. So
Right?
all of a sudden this body just pops up with a shroud over them, and then you got what we think of as ghost with a sheet.
Ghost with the most.
Yes. So the Christians took in 600 AD, like I said, took Lemuria. I'm not sure how you say it.
I think it's
properly.
Lemuria.
Lemuria.
They turned it into All Saints Day, so it would honor the best Christians. I don't know.
Well, it was
The most religious.
I think it was All Martyrs Day at one point, and then they changed it to All Saints Day.
And so again, that was on May 13th, and then they changed that to November 1st. And actually, I don't know how the name All Hallows Day came. Does anyone know? I didn't catch All Hallows Day. That name.
I don't know why it was changed.
And Beaker's going to look, but I'll kind of go on a little bit while you look. So changing Lemuria to All Hallows Day to November 1st, that means that October 31st would be what they first called it All Hallows Evening, and then they shortened it down to All Hallows Even, and then they just kind of dropped the V and just made it Halloween. And that is the name. So Halloween or All Hallows Evening was October 31st.
Well, they
All
also
Saints
had
Day.
All Souls Day.
Right. November 1st was All Saints Day, and then November 2nd was All Souls Day. So Christian took the 2nd. So they basically took the 31st of October, then the 1st and 2nd, and kind of took a pagan type of ideology and made it more Christian, and they added this November 2nd All Souls Day as another Christian holiday, just kind of more get further away from
So here's
paganism.
where the All Souls Day is starting to kind of bring in this whole trick-or-treating, the door-to-door thing comes
This
around.
is another
with
one.
All Souls Day, they would they would pray for the souls in purgatory, and that would if they got enough likes, they got sent to heaven. So with enough prayers, they were sent up to heaven. So what would happen is people would go,
Beggars.
yeah, a lot of beggars would go door to door, and they would offer prayers for cakes. They'd call it souling for cakes. So
Yeah.
they'd
I
get
think
it.
they call them soul cakes is what they.
Well, they were
Yeah, but
knocking
they
on the
call-
doors was called souling, and then they were given soul cakes.
Yeah, souling. So they were souling for cakes.
They really played on that word on All Souls Day.
Yeah.
On All Souls Day, so you had All Saints Day, because originally it was All Martyrs Day, and then when they moved it to November 1st, that's when they changed it to All Saints Day to commemorate all the saints. But then they wanted a day specifically for all souls. They wanted a way to remember all of them.
All souls
Right,
matter.
You're right.
So, yes. So they changed it. So they added November 2nd in as All Souls Day.
Yeah. But it's true. All souls do matter.
so the beggars were souling for cakes, door to door.
Yeah.
And something else came about soon afterward, where costumes, people were like kind of making their own costumes during this time, and they were also going door to door just to show off these costumes they made.
Yep.
Okay.
So that was another thing that was going door to door, along with these guys souling for cakes.
Now,
People
All
were
Souls
showing
Day,
off.
with this praying for things. So what they believed were these spirits were in purgatory. So if you're not sure what purgatory is, not quite hell, but maybe like an in between.
They weren't going to church, is what they're saying.
Yeah,
they didn't go to
kinda-
church every week.
So yeah, in between the living world and hell is purgatory, and so they're kind of trapped there. So their theory was the more prayers they can get, then the more likely they're going to be risen into heaven. And so that's what these beggars were doing. Like, hey, I'll give some prayers for some loved ones. Just give me some cake. I want some of this
With the raisins.
spice cake with raisins in it.
Yeah.
And then, that's what they would do. They go around and go knock on doors and go prayers for a cake, not trick or treat.
Pretty much.
And then what would happen was the beggars were getting a little bit more aggressive with their begging, and they were drinking. They were enjoying the festivities, so they were drinking, getting more aggressive with the begging. And so what they would do to get away with being aggressive was they'd wear these masks, and that's how they could go out and I don't know what I just heard that they were being aggressive. I don't know what that means or what they were doing.
They don't get no cakes and tipping over their piss buckets.
Yeah, who knows what they're doing? So that we were masks, so they wouldn't be recognized when they were sober, I guess, in the streets. I don't know. And so that's kind of some ideology of where mask came from. I've heard other stories of mask. I've also heard mask coming in play is because that veil is really thin, that maybe some of the spirits would come back into the world, into the living world, and try to get vengeance from, I don't know, something that happened to them while they were alive on somebody. So people wear masks to kind of hide themselves from spirits recognizing them. So that's another thing I heard about masks. That's the thing is like, you know, unless you were there, it's hard to tell what really happened and what really started what. History, man.
Well, speaking of masks, I think a famous mask that we all know is Guy Fawkes.
I don't know him.
You don't know that mask?
You know Guy Fawkes?
No, what is that?
Remember the 5th of November.
Oh, is that what that is?
V for Vendetta mask. That's Guy Fawkes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, good to
Do you know
know.
who Guy Fawkes is?
I just found out recently who Guy Fawkes is.
Yeah,
But
so
please
you-
continue.
Go on about this, Speaker. You
That
probably know a lot
dude
more.
wanted to kill Parliament.
Yes, he was going to blow shit up.
He was going to blow shit up
in
on
France.
November 5th
And-
36
Not work.
barrels of gunpowder.
in France. Parliament's in England.
Yeah, same place, right?
Yeah, he had a lot of gunpowder. He was going to blow up Parliament. Was it Parliament or was it?
No, it's Parliament.
It was Parliament.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was going to bring down Parliament
in France.
in France. Geography. Yeah, but I believe he was caught. And
Quartered.
He was drawn. He was quartered. And I
What does
believe-
quartered mean? I read that and I was like, what? I had some ideas of, but I don't know exactly what that means. Do you guys know?
I think that's where they have them.
Their arms and
horse.
legs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
The-
pulled apart.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So like, they like tie your arms and legs to a rope, and I think they tie the other ends to like horses, and then they
just
go,
go
and then
giddy up.
The horses run in different directions. And
That's what I thought. Just
you're
wanted
now
to
in
clarify.
different. Now you're in more.
You're
body
in different
parts now.
directions.
Yes, you're in different directions.
You're in 4 pieces, apparently.
And I think they rumored that they like that they burned his body or something.
They
like
threw it in
that.
a bonfire.
Yeah.
Back to bonfires.
But then shortly after, like the next year, like people would like have these big celebrations and parties to kind of like remember Guy Fawkes.
It was more of like to mock
To make fun of him,
to
that's what it
mock
was,
his attempt at burning up Parliament.
But because it was November 5th, so close to what people were celebrating as all these festivities of All Hallows Evening and All Saints Day, All Souls Day, it kind of ran in together as a whole big like.
Because they would wear these masks, these Guy Fawkes masks. So yeah, I think they just kind of ran those two together. Do you know why he was trying to blow up Parliament?
Oh, they're corrupt and evil. I don't remember.
And he was just like, he was the only one that was going to do something about it, huh?
Pretty much.
He was trying to be anonymous, but it didn't work out.
That white mask gave him away. That wasn't really. He didn't wear a mask.
But yeah, so the mask kind of played more into that, and that was in England. And then when they started coming here to America, some of those traditions kind of followed them, along with everyone else's that came to America.
Yeah, I was kind of reading in the 16th century. Kids were celebrating with more. It was the begging because they wanted sweet cakes. Why not? And it kind of turned into some pranks. In the 1800s, that's when this whole tradition.
Well, no, it wasn't. They weren't begging anymore at this point. No, they were just. It was just pranks. It was Halloween was for pranks, and it was more of a just everyone go crazy and fuck shit up. So people were breaking windows, just doing all sorts of running amok around town, and like it was getting real bad.
It was in the.
Are you jumping ahead to the 20s?
No, well,
Yeah, you're kind of jumping ahead.
well, I thought this was what we were talking about. I thought we were in America now.
We can be there.
Are we not in America yet? Where are we? Are we still in England?
No.
Are we in France still?
We're in France. We're blowing up Parliament from France.
Yeah, about the 1800s. That's when it was kind of started traveling across the world. It was in the turn of the 20th century when things kind of I mean, obviously, I think America is who really commercialized everything.
Well, the Puritans originally were trying to squash Halloween. They didn't want.
They were threatened.
They didn't want. Well, witches.
The witches were out there. They're running amok. Werewolves were out there running amok.
Squatches were out there.
Dogmen.
Oh no.
This is where dogmen originated, right?
Well, no, yeah, with the whole witch trials that we just talked about.
No, you just said that the Puritans were. What did you say they were
Threatened.
Why was that?
By Halloween.
What about it threatens them? That's
They
what I'm
thought
trying
it
to
was
figure
the
out.
devil.
They thought, yeah, they thought it was
Okay.
evil.
And
Well,
the witches were
because witches worked with the devil, and the witches were bad, and they thought that Halloween was more or less a celebration of the devil, and so they kind of tried to squash it.
because this was about the time that those Salem witch trials we were just talking about on the last episode was happening. So they kind of correlated all this. Said this is not good.
Yeah.
It's not a good holiday, you guys.
Devils or demons and making them do bad things and dirty things to each other.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I think there's a town in Maryland that was so like they weren't against it. They were very open about celebrating Halloween.
In Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland.
Mm. Yeah. So we kind of, I don't know where the orange color came from. Probably from pumpkins. That'd probably be
That's
my guess.
later on. Like I think like the
Yeah,
30s,
I think
40s somewhere in there.
I think with the whole marketing thing, colors were a big thing to market, and pumpkins were a big thing.
Well, see, in
so-
Halloween originally like pumpkins weren't a thing originally because in Ireland you had the original jack-o'-lanterns were actually turnips.
Yes, the story of old Stingy Jack.
Yeah, there's a big old story about Stingy Jack. We've
What did
told.
he do, Ghosty?
Oh, you can listen to that on the Booga Boys episode of the whole Jack-o'-lantern episode.
Yeah, but anyways, Stingy Jack, he tricked the devil. He wanted to get out of hell. He tricked the devil. He was able to get out, and the devil gave him a little ember to kind of light his way through. And so Stingy Jack put it in hollowed out a turnip. I don't know what I don't remember what a turnip's like. It's just a
It's
root,
a root,
isn't it?
yeah,
Isn't it like really hard?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty hard to hollow
Well, you
out.
got a spoon, you can dig it out of there, I'm sure. You got a pocket knife, whittle a hole out of there.
Yeah, I don't know how hard it is. I imagine it being really hard. So I think it'd be hard.
That's what she said.
Whoa. Like a radish. Imagine a big old radish.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But that's not fun. So people, that's a story. I don't know how true Stingy Jack is, but people took that same story and were making jack-o'-lanterns out of turnips, good sized radishes, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty big.
But over in Ireland, it's hard to come across turnips.
here in
Much
the
easier
States.
to find gourds. Orange gourds.
Orange gourds. Well, here in the States and here in the Americas, there wasn't, turnips weren't readily available. And
You know what were? Gourds.
gourds.
Yeah.
Well,
Much
and
easier.
This tradition, they think, came over when the Irish were fleeing Ireland because of the potato famine
To the Americas.
to the Americas. That's when this tradition kind of hit America, and because pumpkins were more readily available, they started using pumpkins to
And
make
more
the jack-o'-lanterns.
delicious.
Yes.
And it was also the Irish and the Scottish who were the more the prank playing folk of Halloween.
Yes.
So they also brought that with them to the
So
Americas.
leprechauns.
Well, the
Yeah,
Irish.
those-
Well, yeah, because
Exactly where that comes
stereotype the Irish here. They're drunk bastards. They wanted to mess stuff up.
from. What was the drunk kids that were doing it?
Yeah,
it was the drunk.
It was the kids, really.
Let's talk about some of these.
Always the kids.
Let's talk about some of these pranks they were doing. Did you guys see any of the pranks they were doing? Back
Yeah,
in
it was
these-
pretty funny. Some of them were just messed up.
Can list some of them off that you remember.
Where they were disassembling wagons
Yeah.
and then reassembling them on people's roofs.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
How do you not hear kids up on your roof building a carriage?
No idea.
That's what I think of.
Maybe they were out in the field that day,
Maybe.
or they were breaking a lot of windows were getting broken.
See, that's not cool.
Yeah, and so they were just kind of just being jerks and smashing people's property and just being real dickheads to everybody.
How about gating? Did you hear about gating?
Yeah, that's kind of messed up too, where they were just opening gates,
Oh,
leaving
yeah.
them unlocked, or
And
taking
letting
them,
animals run out?
yeah, or
livestock
taking
get
down
away.
fences. Yeah, so they were doing gate night before
yeah.
before Halloween. They were doing gate night.
So it was about the 1920s when the pranking was getting a little bit out of hand, and becoming a little bit more on the
It didn't the night
destructive
before
side.
like Halloween, so like the 30th was called Mischief Night.
Yeah,
hear
it was
that. Okay.
mischief night, and it was the night before Halloween.
And it was funny is when I was actually listening to one of the documentaries at work, my coworker said when he was on his mission in New Jersey, they weren't allowed out on Mischief Night or Halloween because they still kind of celebrated it. This is probably
Because they were getting out of hand. Is that way?
Yeah.
Just getting too much.
Yeah, it was getting out of hand. Like it's still like in.
Oh,
I think
starting
it was-
fires. They were
I think
starting
it was
fires.
Jersey. Yeah, they started fires. Not now. This was back in like the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had like places on fire, smashed cars, windshields and stuff like that.
And in
They were hellions.
Yes, in 1933, it was the Black Halloween. And it was just got too out of hand, too much destruction, and they also kind of coined it up too because this was also the time of the Great Depression, and people just needed to get their rage out.
Oh, you know what we did forget about
the purge.
before this happened was the Civil War. When the Civil War was going on here
Yeah.
in the Americas, a lot of death. There was a lot of death, which got a lot of people intrigued into death. So a lot of people started getting into the Ouija boards and trying to contact spirits.
The Spiritualist Movement of the 1800s.
Exactly.
We touched a little bit about that on the
we
Ouija
did,
board episode.
but that had a lot to do with America getting more involved in liking Halloween. Was the spirit movement that was going on here, and Halloween kind of already associating with spookiness. That also
Spooky.
brought out a lot of Halloweenies and people. That's that post-it note.
Jump like it's hot.
Here's a possible another origination story of our modern day trick or treat. Was because it was being so destructive. There was a story that was printed in 1939, and it was a story about a lady who, what she did to basically avoid being pranked, is she had an open house. Essentially, she had an open house, invited kids in her house, and basically she was bribing them with treats so they didn't prank her or her stuff or anything. And when that article was published, they actually wrote in there trick or treat, and so that's another possible origination. Again, there's so many because there's so many what you can call a version of trick or treating.
So you would say trick or treat, as in give me a treat, or we're gonna trick you.
Yeah. Well, they were basically threatening people, like give us something, or we're gonna do something to your property or you or something. So give us something. And so no one really said trick or treat until this article was published, and they actually wrote that in the article, trick or treat.
Now, I remember as a really little kid that if they didn't give you anything, I remember like saying or something like that, like, if they don't give us anything, mess up their house or something.
We're gonna smash up pumpkins or the house or something. Yes, I do remember that.
And it was like no, you're supposed to. You're supposed to do that.
Yeah, if they don't give you something, you need to do something to their property.
It's trick or treat.
They didn't treat you. You tricked them.
Yeah. Were you talking about Elizabeth Curbs?
I didn't get the name.
So there's Elizabeth Curbs. It was actually in 1913. She held a party for young people, hoping it would tire them out and get rid of their energy, so they wouldn't.
That's
be
another
destructive.
story then. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't work. They still vandalized the town. So the next year, in 1914, she actually got the entire town involved, and I believe it worked in 1914. She brought in a band, had a costume contest, even put it on a parade.
Oh, I like her.
Says people of all ages, they enjoyed a festive holiday instead of a destructive holiday. But then again, when it came into the Great Depression, it just got worse.
Right, because it wasn't until the 30s when it got real bad.
They get the rage out.
And that's when Black Halloween happened. And then that's when America decided, you know what, let's turn things around for Halloween and make it fun for kids.
I like that idea.
Because the Depression's over, now we got some money to spend.
Is there anything that we missed in the... I'll tell you, I know we missed some things. Like I said, I was kind of looking into this. Other than the Celts, I saw 2 or 3 other... I don't even know if they were religions or cultures or peoples. I don't know what they were. But there were so many different variations, and they all seem similar, where they just celebrate...
Harvesting and death.
Yeah, the death of like loved ones. I mean, yeah, there's quite a few, and I was thinking we can't put them all in this episode. It'd be too confusing. These can be other episodes that we put together on, like Dia de los Muertos or Swaheen, or was that what it was called? I can't remember. But yeah, there's so many, and so it's hard to kind of put it together. So we're gonna try to make it as simple as possible on this episode.
How about the first Halloween parade of 1905?
We can talk
in
about
Allentown, Pennsylvania.
What do you want to say about it?
That was the first Halloween parade.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple of things actually that kind of
Thanks.
was helping.
Hey, you're welcome. I got more about it.
Commercializing what we have today. It was
I can't remember the name of the company when they were trying to get rid of like the vandalism and stuff like that. There was a company that came out with a bunch of these books directed towards children that had information on Halloween, and that's when they started like doing the parties and stuff. And then
paper costumes.
Yeah, they started doing
Denison.
Denison. They started doing the costumes and stuff like that because most of the costumes at the time were handmade. They were made at home.
Took a long time to make.
Yeah, so they're the ones that started like commercializing Halloween costumes.
Real quick, have you seen some of those original homemade costumes?
Oh, they're freaky looking.
There's the scariest costumes, actually. With burlap sacks and sheets and stuff. I'm like,
yeah, it looks like something out of a horror
paper
film.
mache. I don't know what they were making, but
Yeah.
those are the scariest costumes I've ever seen. These original costumes. And again, it's hard to tell what's the real history. I've heard it was to hide. I heard it was to scare away.
I'm pretty sure they
spirits.
were serial killers.
Yeah, very possible.
They're in training because they're just kids.
Yeah, but Denison, yeah, they definitely capitalize on the marketing of Halloween to make it more fun.
They're the ones that basically commercialized Halloween.
Yes, the costume, they did decor, mask. They made a lot of masks as well.
It was because of them. That's the bringing back the whole trick or treating thing. That's what made the candy companies rich.
Yes,
Like Hershey's.
but the problem with their costumes, the problem with their costumes?
Eye holes.
Didn't
No.
they rip?
No, they're very
No, they call them
flammable.
fire.
Oh, the
Fire.
yeah,
That's
the
right.
paper ones? Yeah.
So, do you know who capitalized on making them less flammable?
Someone that did that.
Sears.
Sears and Roebuck.
Sears Roebuck. So what they were doing though is they were actually not just doing like these scary costumes, but they were like, hey, I don't know, Howdy Doody. I don't know, like whoever was popular on the radio, they were making costumes of that. So that started turning things also to make it more of not just maybe quote unquote scary costumes, but also fun costumes.
But you could be your favorite superhero.
Exactly. So that happened, and then one of the things that also started commercializing these costumes were these parades that Ghosty was talking about.
All the parades.
1905, Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
First known Halloween parade.
Oh, easy there. Easy
Oh,
there.
getting excited. Getting real excited.
Clipping.
Yeah. But in 1920, Anoka, Minnesota started their parade, Halloween parade, And again, that was 1920, and they still do it to this
They
day.
haven't missed a beat.
Every year.
No.
You know
Every
why?
year.
Because they're
Why?
amazing.
Because what are they called?
The Halloween capital of the world.
Yeah. Did you know that?
No.
You were today years old.
I was.
Do you guys want to know what Anoka does?
No.
You don't?
No.
All right, well, never
I
mind
hate
then.
knowledge and information. That's why
You
I do
hate fun.
That's why I do a podcast.
So I actually went to the Anoka, Minnesota website. And I was like, what are they doing over there that makes them the Halloween capital of the world? I went to their website. It's a cool little website. It has like a little enter here, Anoka, Minnesota, Halloween capital of the world. But this is what they've got going on this month, you guys. They have a Halloween store. Now, I don't know what's in this Halloween store because I've never been to Anoka, but I now want to go. But they've got a Halloween store. I just imagine a huge store with a lot of Halloween decorations. I could be wrong. I have no idea. But that's what I think of. They've got going on this month, like right now, as we speak, and as this is being listened to by you listeners and viewers. They've got a coloring contest.
Oh, God.
Fun.
That's amazing.
They've got, of course, a pumpkin carving contest.
No way.
I'll lose.
They have a house decorating contest.
Did you know
The
I
whole
once
town.
carved a pumpkin while I was drunk, and then it came out pretty good.
That's good.
It was a stormtrooper. We found the design online. And I'm like, that one. And my
You have a
friends are like,
picture
are
of it?
you sure? I do, actually.
You need to post it. Okay.
I will.
Baker is going to post on our social medias.
Well, you'll see the stormtrooper jack-o'-lantern I did while drunk.
I want to see that. I'm excited. Okay, they also have a big bonfire in Anoka. They're going to do a 5K.
I'm out.
They have a pancake breakfast.
I'm in. I'm back. I'm back in.
They are going to do an ambassador coordinator. So they have a Halloween ambassador
What?
in Anoka. They're going to be doing a carnival.
It's not the mayor. The mayor's not the
No,
Halloween ambassador. You would think.
he's busy or she's busy. They're busy. They need an ambassador.
Okay.
They're going to obviously have a parade because they don't miss a beat. And then after all that's done, on November 1st, pumpkin smashing.
Nice.
Very
And
nice.
it's kind of their way to kind of
I'm
clean up
in.
now.
Sign me up.
Yeah, so that's what's happening in Anoka, Minnesota this month, you guys.
That's amazing.
I kind of want to look into more
Can
of
I
it
just go
and
for the
maybe
pumpkin
go.
smashing
Yes, you can.
and the pancakes?
Yes, you
So
can.
did you
Are they
know-
pumpkin pancakes or are they regular pancakes?
I bet they
very
have all
important.
sorts. I'm going to assume they have all sorts of pancakes.
You know what then started happening to Halloween?
Oh, I just see your Stormtrooper
That was
jack-o'-lantern.
my
Does look
stormtrooper
good.
jack-o'-lantern that I
Yeah,
did while
that
I
ain't
was
bad.
You need to
drunk.
post that.
That ain't bad at all.
You
Yep.
need to post that.
I will
That's
post
good.
that. I was totally drunk when I did that.
So speaking of that, Halloween then started getting marketed to adults.
I'll put that in the picture.
Adults started dressing up and going with their kids and doing more Halloween stuff, and then they wanted to go out and party. So, 1978, John Carpenter.
I've got something before 1978.
What happened before 1978?
A lot of stuff. We just talked about it. all this
19,
stuff.
I've got something for 1966.
Ooh, that's a good decade before.
It's it's the Peanuts Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown.
Oh,
That was on
yes.
this. Yes, you're right.
I think last year was the first year they didn't actually have it on cable television. Or not
Yes.
cable, but regular television because Apple Plus. I hate you.
Yep,
Apple TV, whatever it's called.
you got it.
Yeah, the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yes,
Yes, that you were right.
Yeah,
that
it was
was
like
a good one.
one of those like NBC or CBS or ABC. I don't know which one.
Network.
That was
It
the
called
first.
network
That was the
television.
first time it got Halloween was put out there as commercialized on TV, right?
Yes. So it is so good. It's still to this
Still.
day so
And
good.
they said, what were they saying about like it would be funny if the kids confuse their holidays,
Yeah, because it was Linus. Yeah, Linus.
Yeah,
kind of
confused.
confusing it up.
Christmas and Halloween together. But then a little bit over a decade after that, they decided let's start scaring adults, and then that's when John Carpenter did the whole Halloween movies.
Yeah, someone mentioned to him, a friend of his or a director or friend or a producer or somebody is like, hey, you know what? There's not really any movies based on Halloween. And so that's when they came out with
Halloween. And guess what's happening right now? A new one's coming out, right?
It's already out.
It's
It's already
out.
Yeah,
It's out,
Halloween
and this
Kills. Is that what it is?
Halloween Kills, and it's the 12th movie, the 12th Halloween movie.
Oy vey.
And I did the research, and Michael Myers is second on most kills in slasher films. Jason has him beat by about 11 kills
On screen.
on screen.
Isn't it the same guy playing both people though?
No.
It's not.
No.
Oh damn! I thought.
No, there's been several actors who played Jason. Most notably is probably Kane Hodder. And then there's been
The big boy.
Several, Kane Hodder's. He's a big dude. I think Kane Hodder played Jason in like the last like 4 or 5 movies, and then Michael Myers has been played by several different actors throughout the years as well. Obviously, because it's been going for like 40 years.
Oh, behave. Is that Michael Myers?
Oh yes.
Myers.
But did you know? So because of this movie, this is when it kind of resurged the whole mask thing. People wearing masks. Because the Michael Myers mask, if you did not already know this, a little bit of Halloween trivia here, it was a William Shatner mask. All they did was kind of spray painted it white and cut the eye holes bigger.
And they
Did they
poofed the
bleach
hair.
it?
They bleached it or spray painted it or whatever.
Yeah, they
and
sprayed
then
it white.
they colored the hair too.
Yeah, and they just like poofed it out.
So, if you guys didn't know William Shatner, because he's famous for the Star Trek movies, shows. And so I think it was a Star Trek William Shatner mask.
Yeah, it was a Star Trek mask.
Yeah.
It was a Captain Kirk mask.
Captain Kirk. There we go.
So with these new movies, the new one that came out, didn't it like out of the 12 movies out, it made it to where only the first 2 were, or was the first 2 or first 3, and then
You want me to break down the
yes,
storylines
please
for
do.
you?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so there's
'Cause
12
it's
movies.
confusing.
Okay, so
But after the last one and this one, the middle 8 don't even matter, right?
well, yeah, pretty much. So we're gonna start episode 3 or movie 3, Season of the Witch. Has nothing to do with Michael Myers. It's these Halloween masks. This company, Silver Shamrock, creates these masks that when you put them on, and there's a certain thing that they show on the TV, it like kills you. The whole original idea between the Halloween movies is it was going to be kind of like an anthology thing, much like American Horror Story is now, where each movie was going to be like a different theme, different person. So it was going to be anthology, and for whatever reason they decided to stop with that and went back to Michael Myers. So John Carpenter only actually directed the first 3. I think he helped produce the rest of them. So that one's on its own. And then when you go into the first storyline, you've got episodes 1 and 2, or not episodes, but movies 1 and 2. So Halloween 1, Halloween 2. Halloween 4, which is like the return of Michael Myers. Halloween 5 is the revenge of Michael Myers. Halloween 6, the curse of Michael Myers. That is one storyline. And then you get into Halloween H2O,
The best one made.
which was 20 years later,
I've seen it.
where they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back. So in the first 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, it focuses on Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character. 4 and 5 is actually, you come to find out Jamie Lee Curtis has died in a car crash, and this is actually her daughter, so the niece of Michael Myers. And then in the 6th one, the niece has grown up, has a baby. Tommy from the first one is now played by Paul Rudd, and he's got the baby, and he's trying to hide Michael Myers' like great nephew from him, and there's some cult thing going on. It's weird. And then you get in, like I said, H2O pretends like 2, 4, and 5, and 6 don't exist. So it's basically, or not 2, but then you're like, so it's Halloween 1 and 2, and then 7. So it's like technically the 3rd movie in this series, and then Halloween 8, which is Halloween Resurrection, which has got Busta Rhymes in it. Yeah. And then
I thought that was H2O.
no,
It was
H2O.
LL Cool J.
Yeah, H2O is LL Cool J as the security guard.
Yeah.
Number 8, Halloween Resurrection, is the one where they are doing like the live stream in Michael Myers' house,
I never watched that.
and that's got Busta Rhymes in it.
Okay, never seen that one.
And then that was the end of that series, and then they redid in like 2018. I know Rob Zombie had a couple of remakes as well, and that's its own thing. But then going to the original one, they did in 2018. They released Halloween, which is a sequel to Halloween, which is really weird that they named it the same thing. So this storyline pretends like Halloween 2 doesn't exist. So it's Halloween and then Halloween, and then the new one that just came out, Halloween Kills.
Yeah, so this is supposed to say like there's only 3 movies.
So yeah, this would be a 3-movie series.
Okay.
So what I heard was,
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sorry, Halloween is like my favorite
It is?
slasher film.
okay.
Yes.
I've
It's
got a
way
confession.
better than that Michael Myers. No, he is Michael Myers. Jason. I don't like. He's better than Friday the 13th. He's better than Nightmare on Elm Street. He is the OG serial killer slasher guy. Like, if it wasn't for this, the rest of those probably wouldn't exist.
I don't even like slasher movies.
I don't like you.
I don't like them, and I don't.
I love them. Sometimes you just. I said this to somebody the other day. Sometimes you just need to see mindless killing.
I also don't like haunted houses.
Why?
Like you pay a ticket to go to.
Oh yeah, they're expensive.
I mean, I love going to haunted houses.
So
and
you don't
investigating with my EVP team.
Do you want to do like a full contact haunted house with us?
I don't want to do that.
We should do it.
I do not like, and I'm so happy my wife does not like haunted houses.
We should go to Frightmares.
I do not care for haunted houses. I would go to Frightmares, which is Lagoon, which we've talked about on a previous episode, and I would just go on rides and wait for you guys to go through the haunted house.
So yeah, so the Halloween kind of brought back masks and stuff, and people like adults dressing up, and then they all became sluts.
Yes, they all became slutty.
So all the
My
costumes,
favorite parts of the Halloween.
all the costumes became. They went from like adult themed to adult
Only.
themed,
Triple X adult themed,
Adult only.
pretty much.
which I'm okay with.
I'm not
okay.
complaining.
Yeah, I like it.
Until my daughters want to do that. Then I'm like, nope.
No, then I will wear it instead. You're gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it.
Here's some fun facts. You guys want some fun facts about slutty?
About slutty
Sluts? Just kidding. All right, I want you guys to guess
I don't.
the number one favorite
Nurse.
Halloween candy.
Okay, Halloween candy,
Yes.
candy corn.
Candy corn.
No, it's not number one. The number one
Hold on.
favorite.
Let me
Okay.
give you a real guess. The
Okay.
number one favorite.
Reese's.
I'm gonna say actually. I want to say Lifesavers.
You want to say Lifesavers? Ghost.
I know I'm
So
not
Beaker's
right.
saying Lifesavers. Ghosty's saying
totally not
Reese's.
right.
What? What are you saying? Reese's.
It's the Reese's Pumpkins.
Cups.
It is Reese's Cups. Reese's Cups is number one.
You know why?
It's better than.
You know why?
The pumpkins taste better though.
It doesn't matter if
I
it's
agree.
a pumpkin shape or anything. It's just the packaging is orange. Halloween's packaging is orange.
And it only tastes like peanut butter.
Halloween and peanut butter go together like chocolate and peanut butter.
Peanut butter and jelly.
All right, I am going to list off to you guys though the 10 most hated treats to receive on
Candy corn.
on Halloween. So I'm going to start with number 10.
Smarties.
Fresh.
Mary Jane's.
What the
Look
hell?
how those
What's
are
Mary
delicious.
Jane?
I'll say I hated them when I was a kid, but I do love them now.
I don't even know what this
It
is.
tastes like peanut butter.
Is that the peanut butter taffy almost?
Think about bit of honey,
Yeah.
but peanut butter flavor.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mary Jane's.
Mary Jane's.
It's not weed.
I'm in
can
love
be.
with Mary.
So Mary Jane stick. All right.
No
So
one's
number
giving out actual Mary Jane.
So here we go.
on
I'm
Halloween.
gonna rattle them off. Number 10, Mary Jane's. Number 9, Good and Plenty.
Yeah,
Number
those
8,
suck.
black licorice in general.
That's gross.
Number 7, Smarties.
Yep.
Number 6, Tootsie Rolls. Number 5, peanut butter kisses.
What? Those are a thing?
I don't know. Number 4, Nico or Necco wafers.
Oh,
yeah, those
jeez,
suck.
gross.
Yeah. Number 3, those wax bottles with like little juice things or whatever
They
in
still
them.
make those?
I guess so. Number 2, hated candy corn.
What? Something's worse than candy corn?
Yes, and I might agree with it. Number 1, Circus Peanuts.
Oh. That's a tough one.
Which is almost like a texture and taste of candy
Here's
corn.
the
They're
funny
almost
thing.
the same.
All it is a puffy
Styrofoam.
version of a candy corn.
Yeah, that's what, they're kind of the same, so
Yeah,
they could be like interchangeable 1 and 2.
What are the top 10?
You know what's funny is
I didn't do that. I just wanted.
I saw a meme that had a candy corn on it. It's all like this every Halloween. Y'all are talking shit about this guy, and then it shows the circus peanut. While this guy goes unnoticed every year.
I saw that same one.
It's true because I rarely come across circus peanuts. I rarely see them, but I want to drop kick them when I do see them.
I don't even know why those
Get
are.
this out of my face.
Did you see the post? If you don't follow us on Instagram or and Facebook, I did post a funny meme about the
Oh, yes.
candies that you need to look out for this Halloween.
List some of those actually. They're
Yeah.
really funny.
So some of the things you want to look out for. You don't want your kids to get. You don't want the THC laced gummies. And I'll tell you right now, if someone, I don't know any stoner that's going to get that stuff's expensive. They're not giving it out.
that's not. Yeah.
So you got your cocaine fun dip. All right. You need to look out for your nerd
Hey,
rope.
I know cokeheads. I'm not giving that shit out either.
So you got to look out for the nerds rope, but the nerds are actually crack. You got to watch out for the secret message M&Ms, and this actually says "punch your mom" on the M&Ms. Make sure you're looking out for the almond joys, where they have bullets instead of almonds. Okay. Watch out for those chocolate dipped razors. Don't want your kids getting those.
Careful.
Okay?
Those are so
you don't
good,
want
though.
your payday bars where the peanuts have been replaced with Tylenol PM. And then another thing you really don't want to get in your kids' bags is candy corn. That's just gross.
Disgusting.
How much in elementary were you scared of running across a razor blade in an apple?
Absolutely
or-
zero.
I would
I
check
thought it
my
was the thing,
candy.
like, I'm like, I did too. I said, do I need to check my candy? Like, is there gonna be razor blades in my apples?
Yeah,
They would
I
have
remember
X-ray
growing up.
machines set up for people to X-ray their candy.
Did you really?
They had those set up.
Who
I
had
didn't-
those?
Some schools or churches would have
Oh,
those
so
set up.
you take your bag home and
You don't take it home
You run it there
before you go home.
Yeah, and then run it through the. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we always saw originally trick or treating, you would get like homemade like baked goods and stuff like that, like cotton. Was it the
popcorn balls, candied apples.
You get good stuff. Now
Homemade
you get like nickels.
caramels.
Sometimes you get pennies, toothbrushes. If you go to the dentist house,
Toothbrush. Oh my god.
Mini salads.
mini salads. Mini salads. What?
You don't get mini salads?
No, can't say that I have.
What were some of the things I get that I was like, no, this is.
Remember
this
those
is
like
terrible.
the little knockoff like Tootsie Rolls, the fruity
Fruities.
rolls.
Same company makes them actually.
That's gross.
Those are actually...
But
Those
it
are
was-
bad
it was-
as your last reserves when all the candy was gone and that's all
Don't-
you had left.
Make sure you had the unwrapped, or don't get anything that was unwrapped. Check your stuff for like syringe holes in case someone's like,
Yeah.
Inserting poison.
yeah.
God damn, yeah, I remember being all sketched
I don't know.
out.
I'm like, stick with my neighborhood. I think it's a safe neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was always just like, well, if I die, I die. I mean, at least I died happy because I'm eating candy.
Beaker, what did you use to go trick or treating? Like, what was your carrier?
Pillowcase.
Yeah.
Every year, pillowcase.
Why did we have a pillowcase?
Because
We
it's-
never got that thing near like halfway full.
I don't know. No, we never did.
Like you could have brought one of those pumpkin little buckets. I fill that up. You're
That's
not
fine.
filling
I
up a
don't
pillowcase. Can you
No,
imagine?
it was probably because like my parents didn't want to buy the buckets.
No, I just thought I put more in it.
Yeah.
But it's not
No,
like I
no,
filled up these my buckets
No,
in
we
the
never
first
did.
place.
I know one person actually did one year, filled up his pillowcase, and he didn't have to try too hard because he had like 3 different costumes hidden in a bush, and so he would like go around the neighborhood once and then go and change into a different costume and then go around the neighborhood. He did this a couple times and he filled up his pillowcase
Why
pretty
didn't you
good.
just
doing
wear the same costume and go into different
They're not going to
neighborhoods?
remember him. Do you have like the most memorable costumes ever?
that. No, one was a paper boy. He literally took like his
that's
bag that he used when he delivered papers. That was the first costume.
It sounds like a waste of 2 costumes.
People are not going to remember you.
Right. Or like I said, just go into more neighborhoods. Like
But imagine a
Because
pillowcase.
he didn't have to go to neighborhoods. He just kept hitting the same houses.
But no, imagine a
Same amount
pillowcase,
of work.
a full pillowcase. You know how much that's going to weigh? It's like 50 pounds. You're going to be lugging around. That's too
See,
much.
but you hit the same houses. You're like, okay, this house gave me good stuff, so I'm going to go back to this house.
he needs to explore. I bet you he would have hit bigger
Oh,
jackpots.
I know. Dude, when I trick or treated, we went. We didn't have adult supervision. We just went.
It's true, we didn't. It's like, just be careful. Make sure you take a flashlight. Watch out for your little brother, DVO.
Now you don't even trick or treat, yo. It's just like you go to the church or the.
Trunks.
Apparently,
Trunk or
there's like
treats.
trunk or treats at like a cemetery.
Weird, right?
Yeah,
No, it makes sense.
that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
but
I like that.
I just
Yeah,
want
but-
to show up. I
I mean,
want to do a trunk
they all
or
have
treat.
parking lots, most
Can
of them.
we set up like a trunk or treat, but instead of giving out candy, we're giving out like little mini bottles of booze.
I'll tell you what, we're friends.
Edibles.
There's a local food truck here called Yum Yum Food Truck that we're friends with, and last Halloween, just as a gag, they got chicken feet, and they sold it like you could buy it, like they seasoned it and everything, but people just bought it and would just run around and scare people with the chicken feet. Like, look at this.
Yeah,
Claw.
trick or treating is just not the same anymore. It's like literally, it's like, all right, let's meet at the church, and we'll go.
Open up
around
your
to-
trunks.
Open your trunk. We'll be done in half an hour.
That'd be
Like,
kind of
that takes
funny
the
to
fun
give
out of
that
it.
out for trick or treaters. Is have a bowl of cooked chicken feet and have some dollars and drop it in their bag.
When you would come across a house and they had a bowl to just pick one, like how many were you grabbing? I would just grab a handful. I wouldn't.
It depended on the candy, because if it was something I liked, yeah, I took a couple.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite?
Oh, dude, the just Snickers and
Mine
Reese's
too.
and that.
Snickers
You
were
know
my
what
favorite.
were the worst? When they had the candy
I'll
bowl.
give you a list of 10 that were the worst.
Yeah. How about the candy bowl? They show you pick one, and they were all the worst ones.
Yeah, because everyone took the good ones.
Well, no, it was full because nobody wants it because it's it's an atomic fireball, Smarties, Tootsie Roll, or
Remember those?
Because those were the cheapest bags
was
of
like-
candy to get.
Yeah,
My parents
like
always
Brock's,
did like
right?
good
Brock's
candy
brand.
bars.
yeah, those are horrible.
Oh, Brock's, ew. The Boston.
There was one that was
things.
also like a peanut butter one, but it was like wrapped in either orange or black little wax.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was like a
gross.
peanut butter
Taffy.
Tastes like
flavor.
Mary Jane's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a weaker Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Mary Jane like has a good flavor. Has like a stronger flavor. But this other one was wax crap.
Yeah, saltwater.
Gross. Taffy.
But it doesn't taste like saltwater taffy.
Taffy.
It's like crap water taffy.
Do you guys have a most memorable or favorite costume?
Yo, I remember in high school, I wore the same thing for like years through most of my adult life.
What was it?
It was so simple, but it scared people. It was literally just like a black robe that had one of those no face masks.
Okay.
So it was just like
black
when I'm
mask?
walking up to it's just it's like a mesh mask.
Yes.
I can see out of it, but you couldn't see in. So it's
Okay,
just
yep.
it's just darkness there, and I wore that for years. I actually won like a costume contest at a laser tag place once for like I got like second place for like scariest costume.
Okay.
Let's see. One of mine was a simple one. I had a lot that I liked, but this one was a real simple one. I just wore some some sweats, like a tracksuit, and then stuffed pillow in my front, so I looked all big with a coonskin cap, and I was Prince Marky D from the Fat Boys.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now he doesn't need a pillow.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I just got to eat one good meal.
I as a little kid, I had a He-Man costume with the mask and some. It was basically like plasticky, papery costume. And thinking back, it kind of smelled in the mask, and I bet it was very flammable. If I came too close to a jack o'
It'd
lantern,
melt to your face.
I probably would just light up like a
Like,
Christmas
no,
tree.
I'm He-Man forever.
How close to a jack-o'-lantern do you need to get?
I said if I did, I don't think I don't need to. But
I
if
think the
came
only way
too
this
close-
is going to be a problem is if someone threw it at you.
Well, if it was on the ground and I walked by it and the little
You know,
ember.
cigarette
jumped on
smoking
it.
was a big thing back in the
The
80s.
fires were out
Yeah,
of control
yeah.
on
You
those
know?
jack-o'-lanterns.
People were just hanging out cigarette butts by people's kids' faces all the time.
Yeah,
just waving
exactly.
them around.
Come on.
blowing
Yeah,
it
well,
in
the
there.
80s, they had all those like plastic weird,
Smoking or not smoking, sir?
yes, cigarettes.
I'll
candy
tell you
cigarettes and
that
everything.
my 20s was my favorite Halloween times were during my 20s. Those were some good times. Can't talk too much about them on this episode, but good times were had.
There
Let's
was
just say
nudity
that.
involved.
Sometimes there was.
I like it. Do you have any nude costumes you ever had, Baker?
Did you say nude?
Nude, yeah.
No.
Were you ever naked on Halloween?
I
If
have a
I
feeling
took
you.
a shower before work.
I have a
maybe.
feeling you will be this Halloween.
Yeah,
I don't
feel
think
like
so. I'll
you're
be
gonna
at
be a
work.
naughty schoolgirl this Halloween.
Pretty sure I'll be at work.
Oh yeah.
Halloween's on a Sunday. Oh yeah.
Okay. Actually, this is that you just saying that brings up another topic. I believe that
A
Halloween,
thing called love.
instead of just being October 31st, should just be the last Friday of,
Or the last
of October.
Saturday.
Or
No,
Saturday, last
no,
Friday or
no,
Saturday of
no.
October.
No, no.
Why do you say no?
Because that's
Why do you say
just
nay
silly.
to me?
Because they're trying to do everything. It's like, oh, it's on a Sunday. We can't celebrate on Sunday, so we need to do everything on a Saturday. Why do we need to keep changing stuff around? Just leave it how it is.
Here's what I like being an adult with a child that is no longer a little kid anymore. Is it doesn't matter to me.
True. As someone with
And
kids,
then
it's
when
annoying.
it comes to Halloween, the parties are like every weekend of October anyways. So it doesn't
True.
matter. What
Well, it's like
day.
Independence Day. It's like, oh, let's celebrate it on a Saturday because we can't light fireworks on a Sunday because God will be mad. Like, I don't get it.
Well, you're shooting fireworks right at them. So
I've actually never heard of that. But I'll tell you why. Because
No, we live
I,
in Utah, and you haven't heard of that. They celebrate if 4th of July falls on a Sunday, it's celebrated the Saturday before,
No, I don't.
no, it's celebrated on both days here.
and then it's observed on the
Yeah.
Monday after.
Yeah, because everyone needs that paid time off,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's why. That's not a Utah thing. That's a national thing.
and it's
But-
everyone lights off fireworks a good week before
Why don't we just change Thanksgiving?
Actually, I'll tell
I
you.
would like that,
Someone said something I actually like this. It was like a compromise. It was
No
maybe it was
compromise.
Ghosty. I don't know, but it was keep Halloween October 31st, but trick or treating was the last Friday or Saturday of the month. Mm-hmm. And was it you that?
Yes, it was me. I was going to say it again, too.
See, I like that. That's a good compromise.
It's like Halloween ain't changing. It's always going to be the 31st. But you know what? Trick or treat day, let's have it the last Saturday of the month. So that way, Halloween ain't changing.
You
but
can
that
stay
way,
up late.
kids can stay up late and not worry about
Going to
Going
school.
to school because they can stay up eating candy all night.
Because all right, we've all were little tykes at one point. Did you not get annoyed having to go to school the next day?
It was the worst. Going,
It was the
I want to
worst.
trick or treat because whenever
I want to eat all my candy tonight.
whenever Halloween landed on a Friday or Saturday was the best
It's the
Halloween
best,
ever
the
because
best.
I didn't have to go home and go to bed. I
Stay
could
up later.
after I'd get all this candy. I can stay up and watch TV
And eat candy.
It was the best.
If it was on a Tuesday, that was the worst.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta be home at 9.
I don't recall this being an issue for me.
Well, you didn't have to trick or treat and go home.
Clearly, I had better parents than you,
Weird.
or parents that cared less. My
All I know is I had a bedtime up until I was in high school. So
wait, what?
yeah, bedtime, sir. I had a time that I had to
we
go.
were
to-
raised properly.
Yeah, I don't know what jungle you came out of, but the jungle we came out of
With Gregory and Maria, and they knew how to
Jungle
raise
Bush.
kids.
Well, that's why we call ourselves the Buko Boys and the Wild Ginger. I didn't have a bedtime. I put myself to bed I gave myself a bedtime because I was responsible, sort of.
wild, man.
Yeah, no, I never had a
I
bedtime.
fought it. I fought it hard.
Yeah, I would get yelled like, go to bed, turn off
Yep,
your TV.
never had any of that.
You're a good boy.
Look at you.
The Boogle Boys, not so much.
Yeah, I had to get told how to live my life.
No, I was just expected to be responsible on my own. But
is
yeah,
good.
no, I didn't have any of those
Yeah.
restrictions.
Trick or treating on a weekday was horse shit for a kid. 'Cause-
Agreed.
Yeah. As an adult, yeah, you would say, I don't give a shit. Yeah. Well, guess what? It's not like that. Okay?
I must have led a very different life because I don't recall that ever being an issue.
It's how life goes, okay? It's not just rainbows and trick or treating all year round, okay?
Clearly, I mean, it was for me, but
All year round?
yeah, dude, trick or treat every day, all day, every day.
Begging for cakes.
All right.
Spice cakes. I want them soul cakes.
Yeah, soul cakes. So I'm pretty sure we missed a lot of stuff.
Oh,
I
God.
guarantee we did.
We missed decades of things.
But that's just how it is, all
Right.
right?
We're just trying
time's
to
worth.
we're trying to give you the cliff notes.
We're trying to keep
all
it
I have is
simple.
post-it notes, and they'll just look like popcorn now.
Yo, if we went into everything, we would have to do like a 2-part episode.
Oh, probably more. Like I said, there's tons of culture that did very similar things. We don't have time to get into it all
We don't
or
even
break
we
them all
haven't-
down.
We haven't.
We got a whole episode on Stingy Jack.
We could have gone into like all the different things, or like we could have gone in more into like bats and witches and ghosts.
We
and
definitely could have. I
everything.
had some
Like,
notes on
there's-
it, but I'm not going to share it on
There's
this
so
one.
much that we could have talked about.
I feel like gone deep into Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
Yes,
deep
for
in.
sure.
He likes it when you go deep in Charlie.
Into
Brown.
Charlie's Brown.
Yeah, Charlie's Brown.
But we want to keep it simple yet entertaining for you all and informational all at the same time.
Tell us if we succeeded. No, we did. Yep,
Well,
we did.
Everyone, you
This
guys
episode.
have a good Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Peace out, butterflies.
Ghosty, don't play that.
Happy Halloween. This is the EVP Podcast.